Shalom, party people, and welcome to the 12th Sea. So, lack of resources. You know, it really doesn't matter what the project is. You're going to need things for sure. You're going to need people for sure. You're going to need time for sure to get stuff done. Well, you know, you always have this idea of the right tool for the right job. Of course, you know, if you are hanging a picture on the wall and you have a nail, you're going to want a hammer to drive that nail. Can you drive a nail into a wall with a screwdriver? When you're holding the blade of it, you flip it over and use the handle of the screwdriver to set the nail into the wall? Yeah, I guess you could, but it doesn't really do that good of a job. How much precision are you going to have when you're using the wrong tool? It doesn't always work out too well. Sometimes we can improvise and adapt and overcome, but ideally, if I need a hammer, I want a hammer. If I need a screwdriver, I want a screwdriver. If I've got a socket or a screwdriver and it really, really calls for like a power tool to set it, like an impact driver or a, you know, electric ratchet or, you know, an air powered ratchet, now we can really get behind things. You know, the whole concept of the pen being mightier than the sword. You ever been in a situation where you need a pen and you don't have one? If you are an alumni of Responder 3, well, really any of the refuge training, but Responder 3 for sure, if you don't have it with you, you don't have it. If you don't have it on your person, you don't have it. This whole concept of, well, I got one back at the truck. Yeah, well, how far away is the truck? If it's 3 miles that way, good luck getting it in the 90 seconds that you need it. Not going to happen. Think about this. Resources can be people. Sometimes it's a manpower situation and you just need a certain number of people to get things done. If you're lifting 2,000 pounds, you got to pick something up that's that heavy, you are not doing that by yourself. There is absolutely no way one person is doing that. Now, if you have 6 or 7 highly motivated people, you can get it done. You can probably get it done with 4 who are really rock solid people. But in all honesty, 6 or 7 people make it a lot better than 4. 10 or 15 people, if you can get that many hands on it, makes life a lot easier. So people can be a resource. And if you don't have enough people, you can be hurting. We also get into the situation of having the right people. If I need some welding done, I'm not a welder. Having somebody who is an experienced welder in the type of metal that I need welded makes or breaks that kind of a project. Think about this. You are not very organized, and you have somebody who is there that organization is like breathing to them. And they can help direct the flow of things. They can help order things in such a way that now the efficiency is 10 times what it would have been. Even if you had the right number of people, they can utilize what is there to get stuff done. Now think about it when you don't have somebody like that. That can make or break the project. Time as a resource. So really doesn't matter what's going on. We only have so many minutes, so many seconds. I mean, unless you're like a serious insomniac, good luck trying to just stay awake until a project is completely done if it's a multi-day project. Maybe, but we're always racing against that clock. Everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to go to the bathroom. Everybody's got to sleep. Most work shifts, 8 to 10 hours. Sometimes we're racing against that clock. Everything, given enough time, is going to break down. That includes your people. If you don't have enough time to get things done, project's going to go unfinished. People are going to get burned out. It just doesn't end well. What about when we schedule that time poorly? We've got 15 things to get done, and we don't have the manpower to get those 15 things done. But all 15 of them have got to get out of the way. It is what it is at that point. What about information as a resource? You know, other than time, I'd say information is probably right up there as far as the most valuable thing that we can have. If we don't know, and we've talked about this in lack of knowledge, if we don't know, how in the world are we supposed to be able to do something about it? Or if we don't have all of the pertinent information for what we need to get done, how's it supposed to get done? You know, you may be working on like a model airplane with your kid or whatever, and if the instructions are in that Chinglish where somebody has, you know, done their very best to put instructions in there and make things work, but they don't speak English when they put it into that Google Translate and they miss some stuff. Really makes put, you know, piece 4BA1 into piece 7B27. Oh, yeah, left out a couple of steps there. Now you're having to guess. Don't have all the information, and then it's like, well, I hope this is right. Having the right information, having everything that you need at your fingertips. What about when you have the wrong information? Hey, I need to know, you know, is this project due before this one? Yeah. Project A is due before Project B. Makes sense, right? Oh, yeah. Turns out that Project B was much more important, and needed to get done right away. But you didn't know that. Not having the right information, it can make or break a lot of things. Not having all of the information can make or break a lot of things too. Tools. You know, we talk about the right tool for the right job. Sometimes we don't have all of the tools we need. Sometimes we don't have the ability to use all of the tools. I just talked about a second ago, I'm not a welder. So you can give me the right tools, but if I don't know how to use them appropriately, like in theory, yeah, I know how to turn stuff on. You know, I know how to like draw a bead, but actually doing it well, there's that. And then, oh yeah, I've got this, but it's back in my truck and it's, you know, 3 miles that way, or it's 2 states away because I rode with somebody else. Just because you have the right tools, but you don't have them with you, it can play into some stuff. Skills. Experience. If you don't have the resources of the skills and experience to get stuff done, it doesn't work out too good. If it's your first time, absolute first time doing something, you're going to be slow, which is cutting into that time resource for sure. And then what experience do you have to back it up and say, yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing here? You really, really work into some stuff and make things harder. You ever thought about support as a resource? And I'm not talking about somebody to, you know, work there with you and, you know, lift the heavy things, because that's important and that's part of it. I'm talking about like the support from like management or your supervisor, or from, you know, the client that has booked the project, or whatever it is. I'll tell you what, having somebody who can, number one, enable what needs to get done, be the mover and shaker on, hey, this is what has to get done and we're going to reorganize some things so that way it gets there. or the guidance of, yes, I know this needs to get done, but this is the higher priority, and here are the tools and the resources. Here is somebody who has done this before and can help you with it step by step. Like, having the right support is critical. And when you don't have that, when you have management who does not empower their people, when you have management who doesn't allocate the resources appropriately, when you have management that does not supply adequate guidance to their people, that can outright make or break a project, outright make or break a team, in all honesty. All in all, whenever we are dealing with lack of resources, we're in a situation of quality that comes out of what you're trying to do. We just talked about hanging a picture, and we've got a screwdriver instead of a hammer for driving that nail into the wall. What's the quality of what's going in there? Let's flip the situation. You got a hammer and you need to put a screw into something. How good of a job is that screw going to be set with a hammer? Oh yeah, it'll go in, but it's either going to pop out or it's damaged everything. It tends not to work too well. I can use my pocket knife to install a screw into something, but it's going to take way longer, and it's probably not going to end well, in all honesty. What is the quality that is coming out of the poor resources that I am using? That's ultimately what it boils down to. To fix a lack of resources, really what it boils down to is planning. 7 P's. Proper previous planning prevents piss poor performance. Alliteration gets you sometimes. But if we can plan ahead for what's going on, we can anticipate the things that might go wrong, act accordingly. We can gather the resources to best handle what needs to happen. We can tend to get things done when we start planning ahead. And not just, okay, I'm going to drive from point A to point B, but actually, hey, here's where I'm going to stop. Here's how long I can comfortably make it on things. Hey, am I going to get tired? Maybe we should have somebody else who can be a backup driver. For when we get tired, we can switch. Do we need snacks? All those kinds of things. Having the appropriate resources boils down to having the appropriate planning. It also boils down to, in all honesty, having the appropriate people in charge who can make that planning happen, or at least delegate it out to someone who has the authority to do it. I'd love to hear your productive comments on this. What examples of a job that you've had to get done and you didn't have the tools or the experience or the people or the time to get it done? Go do hard things.